All right, good afternoon. Thank you for having me this afternoon, and it's great to be a part of this panel. First things I want to talk about, again, I'm a one-person shop. I've been at Hampshire County for about 2 years now. Prior to that, I was the 911 mapper. The county was trying to do some forward thinking, combine the positions, save themselves about $40,000 or $50,000 a year. I'm 35% supplied by the county assessor's office, 35% from 911, and 35% from the county commission. If you do that, yes, I am 5% at least overworked, so if you do the math. Some of the first things that I'm going to talk about a little bit, we have, for the 911 project, we have, in the past 2 years, went from being the bottom of the list at the Postal Service on the edit sheets type ordeal to we are now in conversion process. We've got about 10% complete with about 98% accuracy level across the county. We're 640 square miles, 24,000 parcels, and approximately 1,800 center lines. And 15,000 address points. I'll give you an idea about. And then thank you, DOH, wherever you guys are at, for requiring address letters for address changes to be coming from the GIS office. So I spend half of the day printing out address letters for all the new addresses too. So wherever you guys are at, thanks. So, ABL. Who has the best deputies in the state? Anybody? Who has the smartest deputies in the state? Nobody? Good. How many have deputies who thinks that their computers are nothing but a $750 deck of cards? There you go. With just going through the 911 conversion process, we have new deputies, we have deputies, we have subdivisions. There's 453 subdivisions in the county. Each one of them have their own unique road names, of course. And nobody can remember all of them. Again, there's 1,750 center lines in the county. Hampshire County has a pretty dense population in Romney and Cape and Bridge. Other than that, it's fairly sparse with a lot of 20-acre lot subdivisions. But fire, EMS, and police were coming up with the problem, well, we don't know where Bubba's Road is anymore because it used to be, John Street. So one of the things that I've wanted to do is the next project in Hampshire County is come up with an ABL. ABL is quickly becoming a standard tool in both fire, EMS, law enforcement, and other types of vehicles. Our UPS driver stopped in the other day and delivered some stuff to me and said, yep, we've got an ABL system. They can tell when I backed up, when I've stopped too long for lunch, or everything like this. So there's good and bad to this. I want to look at the positive sides about it. There's two basic types, if you go out to look for an ABL system, two basic types of ABL systems. There's land-based, which requires RF frequency, satellite, and then there's the satellite-based. Really, it's an active versus a passive system. Your active system is going to be, cross-referencing between RF frequencies, and your passive system is just going to be, Tyler talked a little bit about the GPS pucks. You plug in a GPS puck, it receives a GPS signal, and it'll route from your current location. And that's the fastest way of really updating to an ABL system. There are ABL systems out there that can actually route with broadband capability from your computer-aided dispatch. So really a law enforcement officer wouldn't even have to be dispatched. They could just be sent the information directly from the CAD. They would receive a CAD incident number and say, we have a domestic dispute at 44 Jones Street. It'll automatically go to their system. They can respond. It'll automatically route it. We are far from that. So we really wanted to start with, where am I at now, where do I need to go, and how do I get there? Again, I talked a little about land units requiring an RF frequency, radio antennas strategically placed around the areas. This would be a really great system if you're in Iowa. It's flat. West Virginia, up and down hills, if you're going through any of the digital radio upgrades in your county, you realize what a headache it can be trying to get frequency into your law enforcement vehicles and things like that. So we're also looking at doing a reverse 911 project. And again, I'm not going to say anything about any vendors, but I've sat through several of these programs. Talk a little bit about how reverse 911 utilizes GIS. One vendor that we've actually found is one of the better vendors What they do is take your physical address locations and they load it and compile it into your system. They can actually, they have mobile applications, and it's used in emergency and non-emergency locations. So if you've got a voting change, it would be, for instance, we've had to change a polling place immediately. They could extract out that GIS data from a polling location or a precinct and send out notifications immediately to that precinct that school's out of water, can't vote there today. How many people have kids and get called at 4:30 a.m. when the school's canceled, right? Very similar system. It's a direct dial system. You sign up for it. Added personal safety in a mobile environment. With people traveling the way they do, there's applications out there with a lot of these reverse 911 systems that track to your mobile communications devices, no matter what they are. If I'm traveling in Iowa and I'm part of the, I'm going to just use Code Red as one of the reverse 911 vendors out there. If I'm traveling in Iowa and I'm a Code Red member, what it'll do, if there's a tornado rolling through there, I'm not going to know about it, I'm just traveling through. It'll automatically send notification because it recognizes my GPS location to my cell phone and say, hey, tell me you're in the, there's a tornado rolling through your area. So really great mobile applications coming out in reverse 911. Of course, other uses include school systems, employee notifications, and that's the way a lot of counties are looking at paying for a lot of these reverse 911 systems. Counties can call the employees, hey, courthouse is closed today, we've got a water line break, little things like that. Reverse 911 can go to residential landlines, business lines, voice pagers, VoIP, cable phones, cell phones, all that information. So they're getting more and more advanced with this reverse 911 system. Again, I'll talk a little bit about delivering the targeted weather notifications, flood notifications, anything that's issued by the National Weather Service. If you have a lot of people now are getting services sent to their phones or their Blackberries or any mobile device of, hey, there's a tornado warning coming or a thunderstorm in your area. And the older problems too was a lot of the dialing networks were very slow and cumbersome. The new dialing networks can send out about 1 million messages in an hour. So those are some of the things to look at. In the end, as far as the 911 part of it, our job is to really more efficiently save lives and help property. And I just have a real quick demonstration. Again, I'm not choosing any particular vendor, but I did, or telling you to choose any particular vendor. But this is the way we're going to develop our 911 ABL system. This is just a quick overview of Hampshire County, and I don't have a GPS enabled, but again, it's just a $35 GPS puck. So I'm going to create a start point, and I'm going to create it somewhere here in Cape and Bridge. I'm going to zoom into that real quick. There's 3 buttons that you use. A will pop up, let's see if I set my start point. A will pop up and tell them the current location. And I'm going to route to my house, 611 Watson School Road. This is all based off of your data. Instantaneously gives them driving directions, and of course the GPS will light up on the screen and show them their current location. So 15.5 miles left on a certain road, right on a certain road, left on a certain road. And that traveled 21.33 miles. And it's based on something to think about when you do an ABL system like this. Your road classifications have to be completed, because if you're to go from one end of the county to the other, it's going to take you the shortest route, whether it's a 4-wheeler path or an interstate highway. So you'll have to establish road classifications, and we use the system classification of 1 through 10, 1 being an interstate highway, which we don't have, and 10 being a cow trail. So that gives you an idea of where we're headed with mobile ABL. So. Did I get that right?